Now, NIO, BYD, Xpeng, Li Auto, and Xiaomi are pleading to their suppliers, so supply them with parts for their cars, to say that they want to shorten their payment to now 60 days. This is coming from the initial agreement with these new energy vehicle car makers with their suppliers was to obviously pay them after some time, longer period. So now they've shortened it to 60 to so that they don't have supply chain bottlenecks or supply chain issues. This is something that obviously is a very good thing, because they know those steel producers, steel manufacturers that are being used onto these neo cars and the others, they now have to, they will work as, they will increase production and be able to produce even more materials to build these new energy vehicle cars. This is very important because, like I said, it will of course solve the issues of supply chains that sometimes hit even our very own neo sometimes, and they don't deliver vehicles as expected because they did not receive enough material from the suppliers. But now the suppliers, or some of the suppliers, are complaining about the fierce competition in China, to say that they are forced to sometimes to even cut their price of their material, the sheets to produce these cars by 10%, which it is compromising their profits. So even the China Association of Auto Manufacturers fighting for, so that let there be fair competition, let there not be cutting corners, because it ends up compromising the entire market, which China does not want that. China Iron and Steel Association came and saying that this fierce competition or ridiculous discounts that these new energy vehicle car makers are also having an impact into the steel and metal manufacturers. So which is something that, like I said, they are also fighting this one. I mean, this one is the China Iron and Steel Association. It's another association in China fighting the price wars. 2 weeks back we're talking about China Association of Auto Manufacturers, right, in China. So a lot of associations are fighting these ridiculous discounts, like the discounts you would see from BYD that came like 3 weeks back. They are fighting this because it end up making them compromise their material, and or it makes them having to obviously lose a lot of money, because the next thing the these new energy vehicle car makers wants these suppliers to reduce the prices even by 10%, which is something that is not good to everyone. So fair competition, it's something that it is indeed something that is needed in China. And yeah, the 10% that I was telling you about, you will see as you will see a single screen that they are saying, since last year, the automakers have demanded steel mills reduce prices of automotive steel sheets by over 10%, far exceeding what steel mills can accept. This is as per the China Iron and Steel Association. So EV makers or new energy vehicle car makers are going to these steel sheet producers to build their cars or to make their cars, to say cut your cost by 10%, because of the fierce competition, because they cannot make good profits out of the cars they are selling. Because of the competition, they are already offering massive discounts, and to try to at least not compromise gross margins or vehicle margins that much, they end up trying to negotiate with the steel or metal manufacturers to lower down their costs. And I can tell you now, this is not the only association, or these are not the only suppliers that are getting this. I think because of the pressure that we are seeing of the fierce competition in China, or every supplier that is supplying your Neos, our very own Xpeng, Li Auto, Xiaomi, BYD, and the others, they are having this kind of pressure to say that, can you give us discount so that at least we can be able to continue operating well and not compromise our gross margins that much. Then they're ending up negotiating and getting, I'm sure that some are getting good deals, right? But it is becoming a lot, which is why this association of iron and steel, it's bringing or raising this thing up of prices or ridiculous discounts as a big problem in China right now. So many of the new energy vehicle car makers have introduced some discounts, because if they don't do that, then they are not going to sell well. Like I said, BYD is one of the car companies that started the new round of price cuts, offering 35% or up to 35% onto their models. And the China Association of Auto Manufacturers was fighting that. Now is China Iron and Steel Association fighting this price wars, spreading a message for fair competition. I think the more association unite and fight these price cuts or ridiculous price cuts like the ones we see, I think it is going to work, because at the end of the day, it won't just be one association raising their voice about unfairness and trying to get actions be taken towards that, but everyone will make sure, or even the government will make sure, that there is fairness, right? In terms of prices, there are no ridiculous price cuts trying to, of course, reduce or cut off the number of new energy vehicle cars that are selling in China. I mean, we have lost so many new energy vehicle car makers in China due to unfair competition, because some of these car companies, they were not getting much in terms of gross margins and end up closing shop because they are not even, their margins are so low, which makes them not to be able to do or run well. Somewhere they end up calling it quits, which is something that shows you of how bad things are in China. If you're not able to sell your products that much, then you might as well forget about the gross margin, because for you to get good gross margins, you must be able to sell more quantities, and more quantities, if you're not offering discount, you might not get the kind of sales that you want to generate on a month to month, due to the fierce competition of massive price discounts that are being offered by new energy vehicle car makers like BYD. So yeah, man, I just thought I'd come and give you this quick update. China new energy vehicle car makers like NIO, Xpeng, Xiaomi, BYD, they're pledging to their suppliers to say that they want to pay them, or they want to shorten the payment period to within 60 days, because they want to make sure that they secure enough material, because prolonging ends up making those of course producers or suppliers that gave these steel mills that produce the steel sheets that are used to build these cars, they are also worried. I mean, this is not that good. I mean, steel sheets that are used to produce the EV car makers are also crying. Those companies, those producers are crying to say that, look, this has to stop. And I think the sooner it is that the China deals with this, the better for everyone, because new energy vehicle car makers, when it comes to premium brand, they've set a very high standard for China, and not only in China but on a global scale, which is, I think, something very important. NIO, it's important to China, and for NIO to remain in the business, they must make sure that they deal with unfair competition, because people end up compromising the quality of the cars that are being produced in China. Companies end up compromising in a lot of stuff, cutting corners, which China Association of Auto Manufacturers state it clear that they don't want that. They want China to remain up there, which is very, very good. Like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Take me some time to make these videos, and I'll ask from you to give it a thumbs up, so that at least can be notified every time I drop a new content. I remain long, I remain strong on to NIO. That's all from me, my dear friends, and God bless you all.